sister.
So you were in for 3 months.
Yeah, or 13 weeks. 13 weeks. Yeah. So
and during this time, you were sleeping on the ground, or tell us about it.
Yeah.
For those of us watching that have no idea what a boot camp is.
So you get there, and say you're on a bus, and you get there, and right before you get to Parris Island, bus driver tells you, you can put your head between your legs. You get down just like this, and they tell you not to look up because they don't want you to know how to run away from boot camp. So you go through the gate, the MP tells you to keep your head down while you're going through base and all that. And you get there, and then you step off the bus. And if you're familiar with the Marine Corps, you get the infamous yellow footprints that you get off on.
Okay. So
drill instructor comes on the bus, yelling and screaming at you. Everyone's in culture shock mode. Get out and get on the yellow footprints, and man, right there, it's game on. It's a process. The reception is what you go through at first. So that's you get your uniforms, paperwork, this and that. I guess getting you indoctrinated. So yellow footprints, and then you go through these big. People are gonna make fun of me for it, but I can't remember. But I think it's like these big brass doors that you go through. I forget what it says. You can look it up, but you go through that, man. It's crazy.
It's real now.
You have like 20 drill instructors coming at you, just screaming as loud as they can. You don't know what's going on. The first thing you do is
But this time, have they given you the uniform?
No, not yet. Okay. Yeah, not yet. So first thing you do when you get there is they make you get on a phone, which you might have seen videos on it. You can go on YouTube and look it up. And get in line. You're sitting there in attention, and everyone's sweating, whatever. And you got to go up to this phone, call your home or your spouse or whoever's going to verify that you made it, kind of thing.
Okay.
And you can't talk to them. You're reading off this what do you call it?
Script.
Yeah, like a script.
What?
And this is Recruit Chandler. I made it to Parris Island safely. Blah, blah, blah. And then you hang up. And they can't talk to them.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
it's crazy.
That's cool.
And they're like, what's going on? So you get done with that, and then that's when it's those first few days are a blur because you don't sleep for like 72 hours when you first get there. They give you these little box chows, and you kind of eat as you're going through. But yeah, you're going from bay to bay, getting uniforms and hygiene kits and everything you're going to need for pretty much basic training. And then,
what do you felt when you first got that uniform in your hands?
It's a good feeling, man.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, you get your uniform, and then the first phase. I mean, it's been such a long time. I went in 2010, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, the first phase. I mean, you learn how to do drill and ceremony. It's kind of like the breaking you down right then. Mm-hmm. Like they're really like tearing into you. It's a mental and physical thing, and you don't know what's going on. You got a request to speak, everything.
Wow.
Typically you wake up like 4:30 PT, and then you do all your training throughout the day, and then go to bed probably around 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, and then between 6 and 8:30, you're doing hygiene and clean your weapon and all that. Clean your weapon every day.
How soon did you get a weapon?
I think it was in second phase. I think it was like 4 weeks after, something like that. Mm-hmm. So the first training you do is bayonet training, so you have to have a weapon for that. So
okay, wow,
yeah, it's pretty intense. Pretty intense. So as you go through, it kind of eases off. You get used to the routine and all that. Start getting that mindset. Then you get to the third phase, which is like the last 4 weeks, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then you get to what you call a crucible. And that's where you become a Marine. It's a 72-hour event, I believe. It might be longer than that. You have very little food. You're pretty much starving the entire time. You have very little water. And you're going through all these events.
Wow.
And they're all based off of Medal of Honor recipients. So right before you go to an event, they read you a citation of a Medal of Honor recipient, what they went through, and it's kind of simulated of what they went through. It's kind of get the mindset of what it's like to be a Marine and everything.
Wow.
You go through it, and it's rough, especially in the summer. You're starving, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, and they just keep making you go.
Yeah.
And full kit, everything. You get to the very end.
Now we won't think less of you of a man. If you confess to us, did you cry?
No, I didn't cry.
You didn't cry. Oh wow. Okay. We got a real man here.
You get very angry, though. I'll tell you that. It will wear you out.
So
you get to the end, and then you do it's a 15-mile hike, and that's what your rucksack. It's like 80 pounds, I believe.
80 pounds you're carrying for 15
miles.
50 or 15?
15 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. So 15 miles, and relatively it's not that many hills in Parris Island, but you're dealing with the heat.
Ooh, the humidity.
And
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to make you do cadences and this down the way there. At first it's motivating, then start getting towards it's like, no, this is terrible. You get to the end and they bring you to the statue of Iwo Jima. You know, the you know, the infamous picture of all the people trying to raise the flag, you know,
Yes.
maybe corner the Marine. It's a big statue there, and it's huge. And they get you in formation right there. You drop your pack, you know, eat a little bit, and you get a formation. That's when you get your eagle, globe, and anchor, which is the emblem of the Marine Corps. They give that to you and shake your hand. Wow. That's where people start crying.
That's the moment that you know you graduated.
That's the moment where you become a Marine. That's technically, amazing. Yeah, you earn the eagle, globe, and anchor from the Crucible. So,
oh wow.
Then after that, I mean, you're a Marine then. So then you don't stop saying to the drill instructor, sir, and this and that. You guys start calling by their rank because now you made it.
what would you say? It's the whole purpose of the boot camp, in your own opinion.
Purpose to get discipline first off, to get you in the mindset of the Marines.
Yeah.
You're not there to really learn how to. It's kind of hard to explain. Not how to operate as a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn all that when you get to combat training, which is after boot camp and your schoolhouse and all that. Mm-hmm. It gives you the I guess the bricks and mortar of like your foundation of a Marine. Wow. Like your ethos, your values, everything. That the purpose of being a Marine, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why when you earn that eagle, globe, and anchor, it's like, okay, you know, they trusted me to take this title. Okay, great. You know, it's and like you said, you know, prior to our conversation, you're once Marine, always Marine.
Right.
That's
once you're a member of that, you're for life.
You go out, and there'll be guys out for 30, 40 years, and they're still calling themselves Marines because it's true.
Wow. That's
yeah. Then after that next 2 days, you're just kind of getting ready for graduation and all that.
So you were talking a little bit about before the show. We talked a little bit about people that influence you in your life. What was the main motivator for you to become a Marine?
A few things. Like I said, I wanted to kind of follow my family's footsteps. Mm-hmm. I like to help people. I mean, that's my thing. That's the reason why I want to be in a civil service type of environment. Like I said, I wasn't doing that great in high school. I wasn't making the best grades. Sorry. I kind of needed a purpose.
But that's great that you're mentioning that, because you don't have to be, a straight A student to join in the Marine or anything like that.
No, right? It definitely helps. I mean, it's good to, you always want to have that foundation, but I think it's important that people know that, especially because I know we're talking to kids, right? So
yes,
it's very important to know that if you are struggling right now, if you are hurting in school, like there is help out there. There is ways to get on a better path. And I think it's important to understand that, because when you're a kid, you're a kid,
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. Even when you're 18, you don't know what's really going on.
Right.
So I think it's important that people know, like, there are those options out there. And it definitely, I think Marine Corps gave me that foundation of, just being an adult, responsible, having the discipline, work ethic, everything.
Yeah.
So
now are you married? Do you have children?
Yes, I'm married.
Awesome.
I'm married, and I have almost 2-year-old triplets right now.
Triplets?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And are they all boys or girls? Or
2 girls and a boy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks,
congratulations.
Yeah.
So the question has to be asked, would you want your children to follow your footsteps?
Oh, man. I probably told them to go in the Air Force. No, I won't tell people not to go to the Marine Corps at all, because I definitely, it was the turning point in my life. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But if you want a better quality of life, and some people in the background there can attest to this, the Air Force gives you a little more better gear and better lifestyle.
Okay.
But if you want to be better,
yeah. So any Marine watching, just go ahead and just cover your ears for a moment.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I want to remind our audience that you have the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have any questions or any concerns, go ahead and post it there on social media, on Facebook, or you can do it right here in Zoom. Do we have any questions from the audience yet? I want to take some moment to Okay, so let's continue. And so this is incredible story. I want to go into a section. I call it story time. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, could you please tell us a proud moment during your time in the military?
Okay.
And something. Tell us a story. Just a good story that you always tell your family or your friends about your experience in the military.
Oh man, they're usually bad stories.
That's all right. We'll take them.
Yeah, let me think here. I mean, I think on a lot of my deployments I went on. So I got deployed when I was in. Obviously, I was stationed out in Pendleton, campus out in California.
Okay.
And then from there, I deployed to Japan. I was in Japan for 6 months out in Okinawa. I was there. After that, we went to Jordan. I was in Jordan for about 3 or 4 months.
The Middle East, Jordan.
Yeah, I was in Jordan. I left there, and then after that, we went to Bahrain and did
Also
some security out there. Yeah. So like we were talking about before, I was an air defense unit, but we didn't do any air defense. We did security force operations. So yeah, I went a little bit outside of my actual job. Obviously, as a radio operator, I did that as my job. But I fell more in like a team leader, squad leader position. So we did security, like we did towers, entry control points, stuff like that. But when we were in Jordan, we dealt with a lot of the Syrian refugees that were coming down. I think it was
what year were you in
that
Jordan?
was in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It was between 2013 or 14. I can't remember. Yeah, it was around that time.
So there's a lot of conflict at that time in the Middle East. I mean,
yeah. So not really Jordan. I mean, Jordan's pretty self-sustaining.
Yeah, but it's not far from Jordan. We're talking about 4 or 5 hours.
Syria, Iraq,
right?
Israel on the other side too.
Right,
Egypt.
right.
Yeah, so they're right in the center.
In the heat of it. Yeah,
I mean, we were good, but yeah, we kept taking like the refugees and all that stuff. I just think there's not much of a story to it, but we were helping those guys out. We were protecting them. And then
so you're seeing people from Syria crossing the border into Jordan, looking for refugees. These are people who've lost their homes, lost everything, and you are kind of like the first face they're seeing.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
What is the reaction to those Syrians, to soldiers, especially U.S. soldiers?
What was that again? I'm sorry.
What was the reaction of the refugees when they see you?
A lot of them are scared. Yeah, they're scared. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, they're in a new country now, but scared, but like a nervous, scared, but happy at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, they were happy to
get out. They
just
left their country. They're coming here. They don't know what's going on, but we had food and shelter for them and all that.
Wow.
It was mostly like a processing. Get them in, hold them, and they can go if they can, or they want to go back. It was just a refugee. In
a sense, you were helping people. The desire of your heart, which was help them with shelter, food, protection.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So that was in 2014.
And 2013, 14. I can't remember which year.
Yeah. And you're seeing all these, like, around how many people were you seeing then?
It wasn't that many because they weren't letting that many through. It'd be like groups of like 10 and 20 maybe. But not too many. It'd kind of be like in and out kind of thing. So but pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And what were your thoughts during those times? I mean, you're in the Middle East, you're in the desert. You're out there. Your life is at risk every day.
Yeah.
What is like a day-to-day, like in a scenario like that?
So, I mean, when you first get to country, you're nervous. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what we're doing. It's all new,
Yeah.
So now I'm in the Middle East. Like, I've never been here. Before that, I was in Japan.
I know. That's a big jump.
That was a vacation, man. Snorkeling and everything.
Wow.
But yeah, you get there. You don't know what's going on. You learn the culture. I think that's a big thing. You get your training prior to going, but you don't really get it until you're with them because it's a Jordanian base. It wasn't our base.
Yeah.
We're just there to help them. That's all it was. So now we're going off their rules, not ours.
Yeah.
We're learning their cultures. How they talk, how they hang out with each other, how they eat. Little things like that.
Now, do you guys normally bring your own food, right?
So it depends. Yeah, we do like MREs. I think is what you're talking about. Little
packages, yeah.
Yeah, you usually take that in the field with you, but when we're in base like that, they have a chow hall you go to. And that Jordanians cook there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we had their food. It was very good.
Was it good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? I don't think I've ever had Jordanian food. I've had Middle Eastern food.
Yeah, it's Middle Eastern food, yeah. But when you get there, you kind of get in routine day in, day. You get your shift work usually, unless you're going on patrol or something like that. Kind of change it up a little bit. But yeah, you got a gym there. You go eat, go work out, go to shift, you sleep.
So you work out every day?
Yeah, you work out pretty much every
Is that
day.
part of your job description?
Yes. Yeah,
Cool.
you definitely have to stay in shape. Yeah, for sure. That you need to take it upon yourself, especially on deployment, because the deployment, no one's really there sitting there like, you need to PT 5 days a week because you're so busy. You got to take it upon yourself and have that, that mental or not discipline, self-discipline to make that happen. Yeah. And then you get bored. So when country being healthy, you might as well work out.
Yeah.
But when you're stateside, like if I'm Camp Pendleton or wherever you're based out of, you're just PTing. You PT 5 days a week.
What does PT mean?
Physical training.
Physical training.
Yeah, physical training. Yep. Yeah. So awesome. It could be anything. So Marine Corps, you also swim too. So one day you'll be rucking, one day you'll be running, calisthenics, weight training, or you go into the pool, you got to pass swim qual and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It all depends. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So especially when you start getting ready for deployments and all that stuff, then you're really going to start, picking up pace with PT and all that.
How was it when you were coming back to the States?
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. There wasn't much time in between Jordan and Bahrain. Came home and I was supposed to actually separate. So I was doing all my it's like transition classes and all that stuff to get ready for this is what you need to do for school. This is what you need to do for the Veteran Affairs Office, and kind of get you back in. Hey, you're not going to be in the military anymore. You're not going to be out there being a Marine out with the civilian populace. You need to calm down. It's good training. They teach you it just gives you help. You hear about veterans getting down and it's just rough for them.
Yeah.
So then the deployment with Bahrain popped up. And they're like, hey, you're going. I'm like, well, are you sure? Because I'm supposed to get out this time. They're like, yeah, you're going.
How long of a time was that?
I can't remember, but I think it was only like 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It was not that long. Went out there. I was supposed to get home in January 2015 because I was supposed to separate April 2015. And then they extended us until April. So I was out in Bahrain for about 8 months. We're doing airfield security out there. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Airfield security, what did that entail?
So, kind of the same thing as Jordan, but bigger scale.
Okay.
So there's an airfield. It was the Bahrainis airfield. Half of the airfield was for us. The Navy and the Air Force were there. Or I'm sorry, Navy and Air Force were there. And then half of the other side was the Bahrainis. So you got, security going around the entire base. Entry control points. Same thing I did in Jordan pretty much. Okay. Basically did a workup in Jordan to do it again, So going there was a lot easier just because it was just falling right back in the...
You knew what to expect and it was very
right back in the routine. I was supposed to get out, supposed to be coming home in January. They extended us another 3 months. Wow. So came home in April. They extended my contract until July, June area. So I came home and I had maybe 3-4 weeks to get out. And that's like unheard of. So my transition out of the Marine Corps was pretty rough.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, came back. I mean, 8-month deployment. It wasn't a bad deployment, but it will take a toll on you in terms of like your routine and getting back into normal life. You get a little irritated faster, stuff like that. You just got to kind of get back into it. So when I came home, there wasn't much relaxing. At the time I'm married, got to move out of our house. Then I got to turn in all my gear and do all this paperwork, go to medical, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much got out, went straight home. Wow. And then looked into signing up for college and all that. So
that's an incredible experience going from all of those places and experiencing all of that in such a short period of time.
That being said, too, like my first year or two in the Marine Corps, no deployments. And all of a sudden, bam, 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 get out.
Wow.
It was an experience, man.
Oh, man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, we have some young people listening, and they don't know much of the benefits about being in the armed forces.
Yeah, for sure.
Could you talk about the benefits?
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm talking to the camera here.
Yeah.
So Marine Corps is active duty, so you got two components. You got reserve and guard components, and you got an active duty component. And what active duty means is that's your full-time job for 4 years, however long your contract is. So one of the big benefits I got was when I got out, I got my post 9/11 GI Bill. just for your education.
Mm-hmm.
It basically pays for a 4-year degree. As long as you're a full-time student, they'll pay for basic housing or basic allowance of housing. Excuse me, messed that up a lot.
That's
so
great.
basically, while you're in school, they give you a stipend, whatever the cost of living is for the area. Like Columbus, for example, is $1,100. They give you $1,100 a month while you're in school. So not when you're not in school, while you're in. And
now, do they take care of your tuition?
Yeah.
Your books?
Mm-hmm.
Fees, school fees?
Yeah. So
and then on top of that, $1,100.
Yeah. So your they call it BEH is what they call it. Yeah. Okay. Such a housing allowance. Yeah. So they'll pay for all your tuition. Like you said, they give you a book stipend. They don't. You don't have to sign up for classes first, and then they just kind of give you, hey, here's $500, here's $600 for books. So if you don't pay for any books, well, then you just pocket it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
That's nice.
Yeah. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
I mean, college books are insane. Crazy expensive. So yeah, you get all that, and then if there are fees outside of what the post 9/11 won't pay for, there's a thing called the Yellow Ribbon Program. Not every school does it, but a lot of your state schools or your public schools will do this, and they'll take care of. You sign up for it, it's first come first serve, and then they'll pay for those like remaining fees.
Oh wow, yeah. The Yellow Ribbon Program.
Yeah, it definitely helps out. Okay. So a lot of people don't know much about that. It's not really talked about it, but yeah, it's definitely something to look into.
Okay.
You can still apply for financial aid. You can still apply for scholarships to go to like extra education or whatever. So there's scholarships out there for veterans too.
Yeah.
Just for being a Marine, you get scholarships for that. There's foundations out there. Yeah, it's definitely helps. So I went in for aviation. So that it's very expensive.
Yeah, I'm glad you're talking about that, because last week we had a pilot here with us, and he went the conventional way on becoming a pilot. But you are also you have your, what's it called?
I got my private pilot license with an instrument rating.
Yeah, and you did it through the military.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's crazy.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so my original plan, I was going to get into law enforcement when I got out. Okay. My father-in-law, he's a pilot. He's a pilot for Delta.
Cool.
So I'm like, okay. And I always thought, I've always loved planes my entire life. I've just been a geek about it, love it. I've always been taught, or I had the misconception that, oh, well, if you have glasses, you can't fly. Well, I mean, that's the case if you want to be like a Navy fighter pilot or something like that. But my father-in-law, never dawned on me until I got out for whatever reason. And he has glasses. He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, man.
So he got me my first intro lesson when I was down in Cincinnati. And they take you up and, they just kind of show you like, hey, here's the controls, let you fly the plane, basically,
Small plane.
Yeah, a little Cessna 172, little engine, high wing, whatever.
You feel everything on those.
I'm like, this can be a job. They're like, hey, you can pay for this. So like,
that is awesome.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
So got out. Luckily, Cincinnati, they have an aviation program there at University of Cincinnati Claremont College. It's out in Batavia area on the east side of town, and that's where I took my intro lesson. I'm like, well, this just fell right into place. Wow. So I got there. I had a little bit of a hiccup at first. So they used a third party for their flight school. And at the time, the VA was having issues with universities using third parties. Some of these schools were kind of overcharging these students. Students weren't paying for it, but it was coming out of the government's paycheck, So at the time, they're like, well, if you're using a third party, we're not going to fund it. So I had to pay out of pocket for my private pilot at the time.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I could have waited a semester.
How much is that approximately?
About $7,000, $8,000. Yeah, it's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
I actually had to pay a little bit more than that because I took my time. If I would have waited a semester or two, it would have got accepted because they went through and just basically redid all the rules and got accepted through the VA, et cetera. So now you can go to UC and use your GI Bill, but perfect timing when I went, they're like, no. So I paid out of pocket, unfortunately. I did a lot of my gen ed. And then I had to transfer schools pretty much so I can get my bachelor's degree and continue my aviation. So my choices were either go down to Florida or Purdue up in Indiana or whatever. Eastern Kentucky University or Ohio State. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I was like, well, of course I'm going up there.
Awesome.
So yeah, transferred up, and then
is that how you ended up here in Ohio?
Yeah,
cool.
So I got here, got my instrument rating here, and then finishing my commercial right now. So
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. So after you finish your commercial, you plan to take on being a pilot?
Yeah. So I was looking towards the airline route at first. I think I'm looking more towards getting law enforcement.
Okay.
Columbus Police Department has an aviation department, so I think if I can get a hold of that,
I think we have one of our AMP program, AMP participants.
Oh yeah.
Who is looking to get into law enforcement.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he might be watching.
Keep in touch. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm doing all the testing of that right now. Yeah. So, and I work for Delta right now, part-time too. So I was working on the airline side. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 kind of caused a lot of issues and hiccups with it. So I'm kind of doing this more as
Were you affected by COVID-19 at all in your day-to-day job or anything?
Yeah. So day jobs with Delta, reduced hours, rightfully so. The airlines have taken a little bit of a hit. Hopefully it'll be coming up here soon, picking back up pace.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah.
And my guard's been it's been affected too, which we haven't gotten into that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think day to day it's been pretty crazy. And my kids, they're getting a little stir crazy.
3 of them in the same age. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So now you're also part of the Kentucky Army National Guard.
Yeah. So
tell us about that. How did you
get back into that? When I got out of the Marine Corps, I got out, had no intentions of rejoining, just wanted to be a civilian and continue on. I was out for a few months. I'm like, you know what, man, I really miss going into the field and, doing training and all that. You go out in the field, you're just like a camping trip, basically. No fire or s'mores or anything, but, it kind of puts you in a really, really bad situation in terms of being uncomfortable and, good job dealing with the weather and all that. And then you come home, it kind of humbles you.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you appreciate, I guess, the little things.
Yes.
So, I kind of miss doing that. So, yeah, I was living in Kentucky at the time. I know it sounds weird that I'm in Columbus and still with them, but, so I went to a recruiter. He happened to be a former Marine. He's like, yeah, get you right in. So, got in and, went in. I'm infantry now. I'm not a radio operator anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm stationed technically down in Ravenna, Kentucky, which is about 5 hours from here.
Wow.
I'm doing what do you call it? It's a special duty assignment, or they call it a broadening assignment. So even though you get like your job, your MOS, you get what you call broadening assignments, which can be like a recruiter, you can go drill instructor, combat instructor, something like that. I'm doing a thing called RSP, which is Recruit Sustainment Program.
Okay.
So the recruits or the recruiters bring in recruits. And, there might be a few months or so where they're not going to boot camp or basic training or whatever, or they're in between, basic training in their schoolhouse where they learn their job or between their unit. And it's just the guard that does this that I'm aware of. Correct me if I'm wrong if somebody knows any others. But, so what you do is you come in once a month, about 2 days, 3 days a month. You start off the day by doing physical training with them because some of them they don't know anything about the military. So our job there is basically to get them ready to go to basic training. Like, hey, this is what you're going to expect. I want to teach you everything I know. I'm going to give you my life lessons that I learned because I went in the Marine Corps, gung-ho, not knowing anything. Yeah. And it took me a minute to figure things out. So it benefits by teaching these guys, what to expect. So they kind of go in and they focus on the things they're not comfortable with or they need more help on instead of trying to culture shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we do physical training with them. We do drill and ceremony with them. Teach them ethics, values, ethos, etc.
What are some of the values that you guys teach there in the
Marine Corps? So the Marine Corps, I go back and I like to say that, I'm a Marine first and I just work for the Army to make them better. I might get a lot of flack from that, but, like honor, courage, commitment, things like that, self-service, let's see what else, and then your warrior ethos. They get you in that mindset of, hey, you're not an individual anymore. You're a team.
Wow.
You got to work with each other. Have your integrity, get your discipline, everything.
Yeah.
And we have hour-long classes about just on single traits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then we go through, and then and you'll go through like Medal of Honor citations and stuff like that, and give them examples, and and I get a lot of value from it just because I'm so used to teaching people that are already in, and most of the time they already know it. Like I see these guys, and they're actually learning.
Yeah.
They're really like involved with you, and they, a lot of them come back and thank me, and
wow,
it really helped me out. Blah, blah, blah. And it's pretty rewarding. So
yeah,
like I said, it's a broadening assignment. It's not my actual job, and I'm doing that right now down in northern Kentucky.
So you drive 5 hours.
Well,
over there
the broadening assignment's in Burlington, Kentucky.
Okay.
So it's about 2 hours from here.
Oh. Okay.
So I'm doing that part time right now, and then when I'm done with that, I'll go back down to Ravenna. But I'm actually trying to transfer up to Ohio sometime, or just get out. But we'll see. I'm going on year 10 here soon.
Wow, so, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I like it a lot. And the guard, I guess go back with like benefits and all that.
Yeah.
You won't get your post 9/11 GI Bill like I did in active duty unless you go on a deployment or you do like active duty times. So there could be like a state emergency, which does happen. It's actually happening right now with, a lot of our guys are going out to like hospitals and helping set up checkpoints for them, and, all that stuff. If you do so many active duty hours, you can get a post 9/11. But if not, you get what you call the Montgomery GI Bill. And with that, you get not where they pay all your tuition. They basically give you a lump sum. Here's your money. And then you use that towards education. That's after you do your enlistment. Also, while you're in the National Guard, and it's just National Guard, it's not Army Reserves because there is a difference. National Guard is state and federal. Reserves is just federal. So the National Guard reports to the governor as well as the president, whereas federal is just the president.
Okay.
So National Guard, you get state benefits. So the state which you're in, you can use tuition assistance while you're in, and it basically just pays for your tuition.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So while you're doing,
and that could be a good chunk of money, because I was looking yesterday online. Somebody sent me something on social media, and they were talking about this university that is charging up to $300,000 for a bachelor's degree. Oh so, but if you're part of these programs, they'll take care of it.
Yeah, they take care of it. As long as you're in. So there is some stipulations to it.
Okay.
If you're in the Guard, you can't be failing your PT test. You have to have a good record, pretty much, which is very easy to do. You just gotta have, like we talked about before, self-discipline.
When you're talking about a good record, you're referring to not getting in trouble with the law.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Law. This thing called non-judicial punishments, which is like the military's law. So there's those laws.
So there are two different laws. Once you enroll in the military, tell us about that. So you live not only by one rule, which is society, but now you also living by another set of rules, which is military. Tell us about it.
Disorderly conduct. If you get to one of your superior officers and chew them out or whatever reason, I mean, they can get you for that. They can get you for pretty much anything they want.
And they can come to your house and get you.
They say that, but it's a little more to that. If they're coming to your house to get you, it's pretty.
You've done something really bad.
That's something pretty bad. But yeah, they can dock pay and all that stuff, take away your benefits. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Yeah. But I will give advice: if you're going to join the military, you have to stay in shape. Don't be one of those people that come in and stay in shape, because it's not just taking care of yourself. Because obviously you want to take care of yourself. Yeah. You can't take care of others unless you take care of yourself.
Right.
But you have to be able to take care of your brothers and sisters.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest part of the job.
And you can only do that if you're in shape.
Yeah.
And you're not only serving your own for your own desires, but you're also serving the nation.
Yeah, and then what you'll see when you're in is you're really there to take care of each other. The people to your left and right, because that's who you're with.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that mission is, you're gonna have your pride with that, but you're gonna find yourself in some pretty bad situations. Yeah. And you're going to have to rely on the person to the left and right of you. And if you can't do that, then there's an issue that needs to get fixed. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest part.
Wow.
And that camaraderie is,
So talking to the young people, what would you tell them? Why should they think about joining the military? Why should they join?
Yeah, well,
Armed forces.
It kind of gives you a path. Like we talked about before, high school, I wasn't the greatest kid. If you know me, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I was going down a bad path. I needed a better path, and then I found one with the military. I'm not saying that's why you should join the military, but definitely join with the right reasons when you go in. Look for that selfless service. I mean, that's one of the traits of the Army. And that's pretty much, you go there to help others. You're not there for just yourself. You got to understand that it is a team environment and that people are going to rely on you. But with that, you also get personal benefits like education benefits. While you're in, you get free healthcare. I mean, that's pretty good. With the National Guard, you get really cheap healthcare, the TRICARE.
That's awesome. That's a great benefit.
Yeah.
That alone.
Pay for it with the Guard, but I mean, health insurance is expensive.
It is, yes.
But I mean, you get that, just the traits that you get out of it. You get the discipline and, again, the selfless service, the camaraderie that comes with it. You get that brotherhood, sisterhood with it. And you'll find out with the military, we all stick together, whether we're in or out. If you're a veteran or still in, I mean, there's always somebody there for you.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, a lot of these guys get out of the military and like I had a rough time. I had a really rough time.
Yeah.
But people need to understand that there is help out there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it at first. I wish somebody would have told me all this when I got out. Like, hey, just go to the VA's office or the school's VA's office and just hang out. Like, you'll find like-minded people. And lo and behold, like for example, Ohio State, the aviation program, it's 50% veterans. I mean, it's like, where have you guys been? So, it definitely gave me a good path in terms of life.
Yeah.
Set me up for success for sure. Sure. I couldn't imagine trying to pay for my pilot's license. Like the previous pilot you had on it, he said he paid out of pocket. Like it's not fun.
Yeah.
You have those benefits to that. So.
Wow. That's
I would suggest it, but I mean, it's not for everybody. Just remember that. But if you think you can do it, I guarantee you can do it. Just as long as you go in there with the right mindset.
Well, we're about to go into questions from the audience, but before that, I have a question that I wanted to ask you. So how realistic are the movies? Like when you watch the movies and you see the military and the army, like what do you feel like? Tell us.
I mean, there's a couple that I would say that might be kind of close, but
they're not even close, huh?
Lots of Hollywood involved.
Yeah.
I would tell you there's a lot of hurry up and waiting in the military. There's a lot of that. It's not just action all the time. There's a lot of you got to find a way to stay awake for the next 8 hours. And you might have like 20 minutes of sheer terror. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, is there a favorite military movie that you have?
There's an HBO series. Band of Brothers is one of them in the Pacific.
Okay.
That's probably the most, I would say, realistic.
Okay.
But not really.
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it portrays a lot of the camaraderie and all that stuff that's really involved with it.
Yeah.
Given it was the World War II era, but a lot of that hasn't really changed. So I would say that.
Wow. Well, we have our producer, Robert, here. Do we have any questions from the audience?
So we have a question from Nancy. How has the Marine shaped your character?
Shaped it? Oh, man. Well, again, what's her name? Nancy? Nancy, again, in high school, I was getting into a lot of trouble. Lived in Newport. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Newport, but it's not the best of areas. It's getting a lot better. I was getting into a lot of trouble. I mean, I had a job and I was working, but I really wasn't going to college or had any plans, I guess. I was just going to kind of wing it and get job by job, and I'll figure it out eventually, et cetera. But, Marine Corps kind of gave me that path and showed me, like, what real self-discipline was and, I guess, the selfless service of it and just knowing that I'm not an individual. I mean, I kind of had that before, but not to the what am I trying to say? Not to the, I guess, the level of what the Marine Corps brought it to me. So hope that answers your question. Can they hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good question, Nancy.
This one's for me.
Okay.
Can you elaborate Semper Fi?
Semper Fidelis.
Repeat that again. We might need to post that on the chat because that's a big word.
So the Marine Corps' motto is Semper Fidelis. which is Latin for always faithful. So meaning, your integrity is basically impeccable. You always do what's right, no matter what the situation. You don't put yourself before others. You're always there to help people, and you're staying faithful to your brothers and sisters as well as your country. So that's a short and very sum version of it, but there's a lot more to it, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we have Whitney had a question. So going back to earlier when you were talking about boot camp, so you mentioned that after your career you went to the boot camp. What happens like right after boot camp?
Right after, okay, yeah. So right after boot camp, you get Marine Corps. I'm not sure about the Army and everybody else, but the Marine Corps, they give you what you call 10 days leave. So leave is like vacation. It's like you're not obligated to do much. I mean, it's not a requirement. It's more of a, hey, here you go. But if we call you back, you're coming back. So you get 10 days leave after boot camp. You get to go home after graduation and tell your family that you're a Marine, this and that. Go eat, unhealthy food, and which I wouldn't suggest doing. And then after that leave, you go to either infantry training battalion if you're infantry, or you go to Marine Corps combat training, which is if you have any other MOS. Because the main thing is every Marine's a rifleman. So you go through combat training. It's in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And I can't remember how long it is, to be honest with you. I think it's a couple months. And then you do that, and then you go straight to your schoolhouse, which is your MOS school, which is your job, basically. So I was a radio operator. So I went to 29 Palms, California, which is down in the desert. And I was there for a couple months learning how to use radios and all that. And then with California. Yeah. Good.
So, we had a follow-up question. You use phrases that made it sound like a family, your time in the military. Does it feel like that?
A family? Oh, 100%. Yeah. I think that is, when we talk about separating from the military, the hardest thing about that is, everyone's so excited to get out and go back, hang out with their old friends and this and that, but you're really leaving a family that you've lived with every single day for the past 4 years. And you know everything about, I've never been more closer to people, if that's the right way to say that, more closer to people than the people I was when I was in the Marine Corps. Wow. I still keep in touch with a lot of them. I got a couple buddies that live up in like Detroit and stuff like that I go see. So yeah, that family's always there. You'll never leave that.
Wow.
You mentioned that you were a radio operator. Did you pick that job, or was it given to you? How did it happen?
Yeah, I tried to go infantry, which is my job now. And the recruiters kind of talked me into it. They're like, "Well, you can be a radio operator." It's like a grunt with a radio on his back, which is the case. So you go in, and I went in, not open contract, but it was what they call the 06 series. So which is communications. But what that meant was all communication jobs. You can be a radio man, you can be a radar guy, or what we call it the wire dog. I forget the real name, but you run wires. I didn't know that. So I'm like, well, please give me a radio operator, because that's what I signed up to do. Luckily, I got it. So it worked out. But yeah, when you talk to these recruiters, you gotta be real careful, because they do have a quota to make, right? So like the needs of the Marine Corps, the needs of the Army, or the Air Force, like these are the jobs we need to fill. They're going to try to talk you into those jobs. So if you go in and you have a job that you're set on, you want to go in and stick to your plan, kind of thing. Be like, no, I need it black and white. I need it. I want this to be my job. And then they'll more than likely give it to you, but you might have to fight for it a little bit. I was just excited to get in. I was a little ignorant in the field of like what to do or whatever, but yeah, it worked out.
Since we're talking about recruiter, are the sign-on bonuses too good to be true?
Oh, they're good. Yeah, the Guard right now for sure. The National Guard's got some good bonuses. Like my job right now is infantry. With Kentucky, if you sign for 6 years, you get $20,000. They need people.
That's nice.
Yeah. Some jobs have bigger bonuses than others. I mean, it all depends, but it's definitely something to look into for sure.
Once that discipline is learned, like you mentioned, right? It's part of you.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it forever with you, or is it something you have to do every day?
Yeah, you can definitely lose it. I think with this, with the coronavirus right now, I'm losing a little bit of self-discipline with my diet. Grubhub has been to my house quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, discipline comes in all forms. I mean, physical, mental, etc. Yeah, I do believe that discipline is definitely a learned thing, not just something you're born with. Some people are born with it, but it is something that you have to stick with at all times. And there is rewards to discipline. I mean, you self-discipline. I mean, it's self-discipline. It's everything. So it comes in all forms. But yeah, it's important you keep up with it, which I'm working on right now.
What would you tell a young person that is struggling with discipline?
So
what motivated you, basically?
Yeah, so I always try to look at things as the long-term goals, not just short-term feel-good goals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see, like school. I mean, I'm in school right now too, and everything's online. And I have this bad habit of procrastinating with online classes. I'm sure most people do.
Yeah.
Wait until the last minute, whatever. It's definitely something I've struggled with. Right now, I'm doing okay with, but yeah. You got to look at those long-term goals. You start making little bad habits right now and struggling with, discipline and all that. You have to fix it now or it's not going to fix you in the future. It's not just going to, I'll forget it next week. Oh, I'll fix it next week. No, you fix it now and you get the long-term goals affected with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to always remember that and just kind of play that in your head all the time. It's discipline's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy at all. It's easy to be like, oh, well, I'll just, I'll eat a cheeseburger today. I'll do this. I won't work out today. I'll do it next week.
Yeah.
And then what happens next week? You do the same thing. It's a snowball effect.
It's a cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
One of those is a good example, but
no, that's good. That's good.
You mentioned you're a parent. Nancy had a question.
Yeah.
Has it impacted your role as a parent being in the military?
Being in the military? I'd say not. I wasn't really a parent while I was active duty. My kids came, 2 years ago now. I think the values I've gotten from the military is going to help me in terms of being a dad. I mean, I've learned from my parents also, and I kind of use them as a role model in terms of that. But I think the values that I've gotten from this would definitely affect, I guess, what I want to be teaching my kids in the future. I mean, kind of what we're talking about right now, these little things. I would say it's definitely helped me. I'm not sure how good of a dad I would have been if I didn't go in the military. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I definitely think it helps.
So if you could go back in time, would you enroll in the military again?
Yeah, I would do it again for sure. 100%. Marine Corps is definitely a milestone in my life that I will never forget. It's with me every day. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get more questions from an audience.
Yes, Kane, one of our youth here, he had a question about medals.
Medals?
Yeah, have you had medals or?
Yeah, I mean, just basic service medals. I don't have any like outstanding achievement medals that you can get. You go on deployments, you get your service medals and ribbons. You get good conduct medals. If you don't get in trouble for 3 years, you get a good conduct medal you can throw on there. Just random things. But yeah, if you do outstanding achievements, I mean, there's different tiers of levels. You've heard about Bronze Stars and Medal of Honors. Obviously, that's the highest one. That's living by all these values that we're talking about. Yeah, you can get awards and all that, either by medals or by paper also that you can put on your resume. So,
Daniel had a question. What's the best food you ever had and where?
What's the what?
Best food you ever had and where?
The best, Japan for sure. I love Japanese food, and when I was there, it was the curry is amazing. You ever had Japanese curry?
I believe I have. Most of the Japanese food is seafood, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of seafood. But they do have curry there too.
Oh,
I didn't know that, and it's delicious.
Curry. Nice. I like curry.
It's hard to get around here.
Now you've been deployed a lot, different countries. Now, do you think that's affected your perspective as you've been exposed to different cultures?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Luckily, my childhood, I grew up in a diverse, like we talked about, I went back from living in Cincinnati, a very diverse area, to living in the Appalachians, low income, coal mining town kind of thing. And coming back, you get very diverse culturally with that. And then, the military too, you learn how different cultures work, and it's like, oh, we're not the only country here. Definitely brings things into perspective of how good we do have it here.
Yeah,
I think it's important to understand that don't take advantage of it, because people out there are a lot worse.
Yeah.
A lot worse.
From all of the countries that you've been to, is there a country that when you went to this country, you were like, this is like another planet, or like
Yeah.
it was the most?
Yeah, the Middle East for sure. For
Really?
sure. Yeah. I mean, you go in there with the, the news and the training and all this other stuff, but it doesn't prepare you until you actually get there. I mean, it does a little bit, but until you actually meet the people, talk to the people, because that's what you need to be doing. It's easy to go to country and just ignore them,
Yeah.
But it's your job to do your part, especially when I was in Jordan, because we were on a Jordanian base. It wasn't our base. We were their guests.
Wow.
So we lived by their rules, and we had to adjust to that. So yeah,
Wow.
That answers the question. Yeah, for sure. It definitely changed my perspective.
Cool. Do we have more questions from the?
I think we probably have everything right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, any last words you would like to tell our audience and to our youth?
Well, I'd say for the kids, just remember, I mean, I talked about how I had a bad past and all that, and it definitely helped me, but I think right now is the time to fix it if things are not going as well for you.
Yeah.
Remember that your grades, if you do want to join the military, your grades will have an impact. You will take the ASVAB test, which is reading, writing, math, stuff like that. So if you want the job that you really want, you got to get high on that score. So definitely something to think about. And just start working on discipline now. I mean, it's going to set you up for success in the future.
That's awesome.
And always remember that even if you are in a bad path, you are in a bad spot, there's options out there. I mean, you look at me now and I'm fine, but back then, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just think it's always important just to understand you're not alone.
Yeah.
There is help out there. So.
Wow. Well, Jesse, we thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Your willingness to come and to serve us, and thank you for your service to the country.
Oh, absolutely.
We really thank you for that, because we know you put your life in the line to serve the nation and others around the world. So thank you so much. And to all of our audience, we thank you so much for joining us in Walk in My Shoes. And we're looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, 1 p.m., come on and join us as we bring another guest. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day. Jesse, again, thank you for joining us. Have a good time. Take care. Stay safe out there.